This Family Life News podcast is made possible by the support of listeners like you.
It's the Noon Report from Family Life, bringing a Christian worldview to what's happening in New York, Pennsylvania, across the country, and around the world. Weather with Kevin Williams, plus special features and reports with the Family Life News team. Now, here's what's happening.
Day 16 of the shutdown. Good afternoon. Welcome aboard. The staring contest continues on Capitol Hill as Republicans and Democrats lock horns amid a spending impasse that has the federal government very much gridlocked. Senate Majority Leader John Thune says it's time for Democrats to end the shutdown and stop blocking a GOP funding bill.
All we need are 5 courageous Democrats with a backbone who aren't afraid to buck their leadership, who are marching them right over a cliff.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer blames Republicans for the shutdown.
Thousands of federal workers continue to work and not get paid. House Republicans continue to get paid and don't work.
Democrats are demanding an extension of health care subsidies as part of any deal. Republicans insist lawmakers need to end the shutdown first, then deal with health care. A federal judge in San Francisco, meantime, has ruled that the Trump administration cannot lay off government workers as the standoff continues. President Trump has authorized the CIA to conduct covert operations in Venezuela. The new authority allows the Central Intelligence Agency to carry out lethal force in that crime-ridden Caribbean country. Reporter Garrett Hayes.
It really was stunning confirmation yesterday from the president that he'd authorized this covert action, bringing what had been secret U.S. operations at least somewhat into the open.
CBS's Natalie Brand.
The president has also designated a prison gang out of Venezuela, Tren de Aragua, as a terrorist organization, and he revealed that the administration is considering potential land strikes as well, following what the administration has seen as successful strikes on the sea. But over on Capitol Hill, a number of lawmakers are worried about the legal authority of this escalated activity, and they're also some worried about the risk of escalation into war.
The U.S. military has blown up several drug boats and narco-terrorists in international waters near Venezuela. A $50 million reward is being offered, leading to the arrest of that country's strongman, Nicolas Maduro. The commander-in-chief is singing the praises of Operation Summer Heat. That FBI-led crime crackdown netted thousands of arrests the past few months.
And these are among the most dangerous and violent people in the world. They were allowed, in many cases, they were allowed in by a very foolish open border policy.
FBI Director Kash Patel says he will not apologize for making crushing crime a top priority.
We are preventing criminals from coming into America, and we are absolutely crushing violent crime like never before and defending this homeland.
The president admits he has his sights next on San Francisco as the next target for a federal crime crackdown. Now to the fragile truce in the Middle East. Israel accusing Hamas of violating terms of the peace deal. The terror group admits it may not be able to hand over all the bodies of the hostages they took from Israel on October 7th.
Hamas says it can't locate any more of the bodies of the hostages it kidnapped in Israel, saying it needs specialized digging equipment and heavy machinery that it says Israel isn't allowing in. Freed hostages say they were kept in deep tunnels. Some now collapsed and apparently buried under buildings.
NBC's Richard Engel. New York City mayoral candidate Zohran Mamdani says he supports the arrest of Israel's prime minister should he ever step foot in the Big Apple. Mamdani is also refusing to give President Trump any credit for brokering the Mideast ceasefire, and he will not demand that Hamas lay down its arms. Wall Street Journal reporter Monet Akwemanwu Sliwa.
This is someone who just days after October 7th, a couple of years ago, said Israel is on the brink of genocide. So this is before they even started their actual war. He's criticized them at every single step. Now that there's a ceasefire, instead of celebrating it, he's now saying we have to wait and see. So very clearly, he doesn't give Israel any credit for any of the accomplishments that they have in the region. And he's been very unwilling to criticize Hamas or explicitly renounce their Islamic radical campaign of terrorism.
Mamdani will debate the issues tonight with fellow mayoral candidates Andrew Cuomo and Curtis Sliwa. A new study shows kids today are starting to reject the trans ideology. The share of students who identify as trans has been cut in half in just 2 years. Eric Kaufman is a social scientist at the University of Buckingham in England.
Mental health has improved over the last 3 years. Less anxiety, less depression, and I think that is one of the factors that explains the decline in identification with trans and also with queer sexuality.
Simon Price is a detransitioner who was discouraged to go down the gender bender road by his own father.
He, really held the line and said no to my pediatrician who asked him, do you want a dead son or a living daughter? And he said to me, I'm not going to support this.
Price says he was brainwashed as a teenager by the false notion that he could change his gender. Cause of death for an Oscar-winning actress. Diane Keaton passed away from pneumonia. Back on Saturday, she was 79. Keaton, best known for her role in such hit films as The Godfather and Annie Hall, for which she won an Oscar. On the health front, new research today shows when it comes to the battle of the bulge, you may have more to lose than you think.
Obesity in America just skyrocketed from 40% to 70%, but not for the reason you may think. Researchers at Mass General Brigham looked at a new definition of obesity, which includes measures of body fat distribution in addition to body mass index. Under this new definition, the vast majority of Americans are considered obese.
Michael George reporting new car prices are reaching record highs in this country. Kelley Blue Book says the average American new car buyer paid just over $50,000 last month. That is the first time that figure has ever topped the $50,000 mark, the average price for a new car. The Cincinnati Bengals host the Pittsburgh Steelers tonight for Thursday night football. 40-year-old Joe Flacco faces off against 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers in what some have dubbed the Icy Hot Bowl. Rodgers says of the matchup,
great for all the old guys, I know that when I watch other sports, maybe it's because I'm the older guy, but I tend to pull for the older guys to win championships.
Let's hear it for the old guys. Tonight's game will mark just the second time in NFL history where both starting quarterbacks were over the age of 40. Still to come on the Noon Report for a Thursday. Gas ban backlash. What happened at the Harrisburg Airport? And not enough water in Western New York.
Good afternoon. I'm Kevin Williams. Cool, crisp air upon us. Changes are coming, though, as we head on through the weekend ahead. The detailed forecast is up in 10.
All right, Kevin, we'll see you then. Let's check the stories making news where you live. Condition critical in Ripley, New York. The state's westernmost town in its westernmost county does not have enough water, and residents are stunned.
I think everybody's surprised. Ripley, I've lived here my entire life and never heard of a water problem, ever.
Bob Bentley runs Meters Restaurant in Ripley. He's cutting back water use because of this state of emergency.
We're starting to use bottled water at Meters as of today, not drawing out of the tap anymore. We've talked to all of our dishwashers, talked to them about not using the sprayers, not doing stuff like that waste water. We feel we have to be part of the solution instead of part of the problem.
The reservoir that supplies water to homes and businesses in Ripley's become dangerously low due to the ongoing drought. Pennsylvania Senator Dave McCormick is demanding answers after a hacker was able to gain access to the PA system at the Harrisburg International Airport. An unauthorized user played a message earlier this week. Here's some of what it sounded like.
Free Palestine. Free Palestine.
voice on the public address system identified itself as Turkish hacker Cyber Islam. That message played for about 10 minutes. Senator McCormick called the incident extremely disturbing and said the bad actors responsible need to be held accountable. Airport police are investigating. A new state law that takes effect January 1st in New York is raising eyebrows all across the Empire State.
None of the new homes that we build next year can have any kind of fossil fuel, so no propane, no natural gas.
John Graciosi is a home builder in the Rochester area. He says the fossil fuel ban means all stoves, furnaces, water heaters, and dryers in new home constructions will have to run on electricity. That, he says, could tax the electric grid and cause power problems statewide.
So it just seems really ridiculous that we're still moving forward with not allowing natural gas or other fossil fuels in new developments where the gas is available, it's already there, and there's not enough electrical power.
Gracioso says the gas ban is going to price prospective home buyers out of new homes all over New York.
We're supposedly trying to build homes that people can afford to raise their family, to have a good home, and right now they're making that almost impossible.
Home builders are asking the state to delay implementation of the fossil fuel ban until improvements can be made to the electric grid. Corning Incorporated is donating nearly $200,000 to 8 schools in Steuben and Chemung counties in New York's southern tier. It's to help fund school food centers. These are grocery stores that operate inside the school buildings. Foods distributed at no cost to needy students or their families. According to the Food Bank of the southern tier, Chemung and Steuben counties have a child food insecurity rate of more than 25% above the national average. Small business owners in Pennsylvania are blasting a proposed new tax on skilled games in the Commonwealth.
We think that would be devastating to our industry. We think we'd be overtaxed and overregulated, and it would kill our nonprofits and our small businesses.
Willie Shea is a fourth-generation business owner in Lebanon County. Doug Sprankle with the State Taverns and Players Association says games of chance serve a vital role in the community.
It's helping your fire company stay open. It's helping your small fraternal orders to keep their doors open. It helps guys like me, a small grocer from Western Pennsylvania, pay health insurance for his employees.
With the state budget over 100 days late, some Pennsylvania politicians are proposing a tax on games of chance. Governor Shapiro wants a 52% tax on skilled gaming that would fund education and mass transit. There are more than 86,000 miles of rivers and streams in Pennsylvania, and now you can nominate your favorite waterway. The Pennsylvania Department of Conservation and Natural Resources is accepting nominations for the 2026 River of the Year. All PA rivers can be nominated through November 21st, except for the past 5 winners, and here they are: the Delaware, Allegheny, Susquehanna North Branch, French Creek, and Shenango rivers. Sports next. It's the 2-minute drill on the Family Life Noon Report.
Good afternoon, I'm Randy Snavely. Bob, after last night's performance, I've been wondering if Toronto stopped off somewhere in the Midwest to pick up some new bats before flying the rest of the way to Seattle. The Blue Jays hammered the Mariners 13-4 last night in Game 3 of the American League Championship Series, and hammered is the appropriate word. Not just because they hit 5 home runs and 4 doubles in the rout, but because of how hard the balls were hit. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hit a home run, 2 doubles, and a single. His exit velocities were 108, 106, 105, and 103 miles per hour. And his first double was a screaming line drive that would have easily been a home run if it had any elevation. Instead, it bounced off the wall. All told, the Jays had 13 hits that left their bats at 100 miles per hour or more. George Springer went deep. Andres Jimenez went deep. Alexandra Kirk went deep. Addison Barger went deep. And then there was Guerrero. The series still sees the Mariners in the driver's seat with a 2-1 lead. And Game 4 is back at T-Mobile Park tonight in Seattle at 8:30. But Toronto has put the Mariners on notice. This series is far from over. The National League Championship Series resumes at 6 this evening in Los Angeles as the Dodgers look to go 3-up on the Brewers. Milwaukee will try to pull off what the Blue Jays did by winning Game 3 on the road. And one other baseball note, can you imagine Albert Pujols in an Orioles uniform? Well, according to reports, Baltimore will interview Pujols for their open managerial position. That is a look at sports.
All right, Randy, thank you very much. And still to come on the Noon Report, covert ops in the Caribbean, prayer for the persecuted church, and the sordid history of Planned Parenthood.
Welcome to Breakpoint, a daily look at an ever-changing culture through the lens of unchanging truth. For the Colson Center, I'm John Stonestreet. On this day in 1916, the first birth control clinic in America was opened in Brooklyn, New York. Margaret Sanger, a nurse who worked among the poor on the Lower East Side, founded the Brownsville Clinic, which was later renamed after her. Sanger would later found Planned Parenthood, the organization that would lead America into an era of child killing. An estimated 64.5 million babies have been killed since Roe v. Wade legalized abortion on demand in 1973. Though the Dobbs decision would overturn Roe, abortion had already, as Ryan Anderson and Alexandra DeSanctis have effectively argued in their book, poisoned basically every aspect of our culture. At the heart of Sanger's views was a deep and incipient racism that continues to express in the work of the organization that she founded. An avowed advocate of eugenics, Sanger famously launched what was called the Negro Project to reduce or eliminate the black population by encouraging sterilization and birth control. Though the context of her exact words are debated, Sanger once described the project this way, quote, "We do not want the word to go out that we want to exterminate the Negro population, and the minister is the man who can straighten out that idea if it ever occurs to any of their more rebellious members," end quote. Whatever her intent with that language, her legacy is straightforward. While African Americans make up about 14% of the U.S. population, as of 2021, 28% of all abortions are from black women, compared to just 6.4% of white women. Black moms are somewhere between 3 and 5 times more likely to have an abortion than white moms. In New York City, thousands more black babies are aborted than are born each and every year. In his book, How to Be an Anti-Racist, which was on the New York Times bestseller list for 45 straight weeks, Dr. Ibram X. Kendi defined racism as anything that, and I quote, produces or sustains racial inequity. According to Kendi, intention does not really matter, only outcomes do. Well, ironically, Kendi and other progressives center abortion rights in their cultural agenda for diversity, equality, and inclusion. And yet, according to his own flawed definition of racism, there is no more racist practice than abortion. There is no cultural institution more racist than Planned Parenthood. Over 19 million more African American people would be in the world today if not for legalized abortion and Planned Parenthood. Even more, Planned Parenthood's business model directly targets black and other minority women. A 2017 Protecting Black Life study found that 22 out of 25 abortion megacenters are located within walking distance of black communities. There's simply no greater example of systemic racism in the world today in an organization than Planned Parenthood. Proponents of eugenics like Sanger wanted wealthy, healthy, and strong people to have more babies, and they wanted poor, sick, disabled, and minority people to have fewer babies or none at all. Of course, the women who walk into a Planned Parenthood today, they're not thinking about Margaret Sanger or her historically racist views. They're in crisis. They're looking for help. Many are in poverty. Way too many are being pressured to have an abortion, and many are scared. Black mothers are, after all, nearly 3 times as likely to die during pregnancy or childbirth as white mothers. All of them have been raised in a society in which abortion has been normalized. That's why abortion remains prevalent. They may not know the history of this organization, but it is the history. For the Colson Colson Center, I'm John Stonestreet with Breakpoint.
Thank you, John. We go outside next. Kevin Williams.
Here is your family life weather forecast for this afternoon. Ample sunshine, crisp and cool, the high in the 50s. Mainly clear tonight, low temperatures mostly in the 30s. Tomorrow, sunshine, some clouds will build in, though, through the afternoon in western New York with high temps near 60. Could be a brief shower or sprinkle in a few places late tomorrow afternoon or evening. Saturday, some sunshine and warmer, high temps 60s to near 70. Rain arrives later on Sunday and Sunday night.
All right, Kevin, thank you. This is the Noon Report on Family Life. I'm your host, Bob Price, and here's what's happening Thursday, the 16th of October. Still no sign of an end to the 16-day-old government shutdown in Washington. A federal judge last night ruled the White House cannot fire federal workers during the impasse.
The San Francisco judge siding with labor unions and criticizing the White House for assuming the, quote, laws don't apply to them anymore. The Trump administration has said Democrats forcing a shutdown has forced them to lay off workers who are normally just put on unpaid leave.
Correspondent Ryan Nobles on Capitol Hill. The Trump administration has green-lighted a covert CIA operation for Venezuela. Correspondent Linda Kenyon.
President Trump says he issued the authorization for two reasons.
Number one, they have emptied their prisons into the United States of America.
And number two,
drugs. We have a lot of drugs coming in from Venezuela.
The U.S. military has blown up several small boats Trump says were running drugs into the U.S.
Earlier this summer, the White House said it would offer a $50 million reward leading to the arrest of Venezuelan strongman Nicolas Maduro. The remains of nearly 24 hostages abducted by Hamas from Israel on October 7th, those remains may never come home.
It was understood that finding some of the bodies would be quite difficult because of the ruins and rubble of Gaza, but Hamas has only handed over 9. There are still 19 left. And in Gaza, Palestinians are worried that any further delays will cut off the flow of aid. They have been stockpiling what food there is, and the prices have really been rising.
The BBC's Barbara Platt-Usher. President Trump says he might be in the gallery next month when the Supreme Court hears oral arguments on his tariff policy. Reporter Rory O'Neill.
President Trump would be the first sitting president to attend oral arguments as the court considers if any president has the power to impose tariffs unilaterally. Speaking to reporters in the Oval Office Wednesday, President Trump said that tariffs are a very important tool for U.S. defense and national security. Lower courts have ruled that Trump has overstepped his authority issuing tariffs. Arguments will be heard November 5th. I'm Rory O'Neill.
It's debate night in New York City. The candidates for mayor square off with less than 3 weeks to go till Election Day. Scott Pringle has a preview.
Democratic frontrunner Zoran Mamdani, Independent Andrew Cuomo, and Republican Curtis Sliwa will try and win over voters. Polls show Mamdani has a double-digit lead over Cuomo, with Sliwa in third. Political experts say this is a key debate for Cuomo to try and gain momentum with time running out. Mayor Eric Adams, who dropped out of the race, has yet to make an endorsement. NBC4 will air the debate at 7 o'clock.
The Trump administration is withholding $40 million for California because that state will not enforce English language requirements for commercial truck drivers. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy.
To drive an 18-wheeler, a semi, a school bus, you have to speak English and you have to understand English. Gavin Newsom supports illegals over his own highway patrol to keep the roads safe. And so because they haven't complied, we'll use the tools that we have to make sure we make California pay attention to basic safety regulations, which is English language, behind the truck, behind the big wheels of these big rigs.
Back in August, a migrant from India who received a commercial driver's license in California made an illegal U-turn in Florida, killing 3 people. It was later determined that truck driver could not speak English. A typhoon recently rocked Alaska, and evacuation efforts are underway as a result. Here's reporter Jennifer Kuiper.
Hundreds of people have been evacuated from storm-devastated southwestern coastal towns hit by remnants
remnants of a typhoon. A record storm surge swept away homes, some with people still inside. The state says the storm has left 1,800 residents in makeshift shelters.
At least one woman was killed. 2 men remain missing. Money doesn't grow on trees, but apparently gold does. Minuscule amounts of gold can be found within the leaves and needles of certain trees because of their deep root systems. The Australian eucalyptus tree and Finnish Norway spruce trees can absorb tiny gold particles from underground deposits. How about that? While the gold is not enough to make you rich, its presence does indicate the likelihood of larger, more valuable gold deposits nearby. You're listening to the Noon Report for Thursday on Family Life.
This is Faith Under Fire. We take you straight to the voices on the front lines of religious battlegrounds. I'm news anchor Sarah Harnish, and with me today, voice of the Martyrs Vice President, Todd Nettleton. We're talking the International Day of Prayer for Persecuted Christians. Todd, this is coming up on the 2nd of November, the very first Sunday in November. Give me some details.
You know, this is a key day on the church calendar. The first request of our persecuted brothers and sisters is that we pray for them. And so the International Day of Prayer for Persecuted Christians is a chance for, we hope, every church to pray specifically for Christians who are facing persecution. And we typically honor that day the first Sunday in November, but I always tell pastors and church leaders, hey, if you've already planned your service the first Sunday in November, okay, pick the second Sunday. Pick the last Sunday in October. Just make sure that your church is praying publicly for our persecuted brothers and sisters. We have lots of resources on our website, persecution.com, to help you pray. If you're in a church, if you're in a Sunday school class, we have a video you can show.
Well, let's pause right now, right in the middle of Faith Under Fire, and share a snippet of that video.
My village was attacked in June. I was taken into the forest. They said, if you become Muslim, you can be spared. If you refuse, we will kill you.
My name is Kasaka. I am a Christian. My friends and I were coming out of our field to attack Beirut.
That's a very powerful video showing the persecuted church, and it's one of many free tools that's available at persecution.com. If you want to get directly to the video, go to persecution.com/IDOP for International Day of Prayer. What other resources do you have on your website, Todd?
We have church bulletin inserts. We even have a kind of a sermon builder tool. If you're a pastor, if you're a teacher, what does the scripture say about persecution, and how do I communicate that? We've got a tool to help you do that. So the important thing is every church praying for persecuted Christians sometime in that month of November.
That's incredible. I mean, it's like a little to-go kit for churches just to pick it up and use it in their services to get Christians praying collectively for those that are in countries where it's dangerous to be a Christian.
Yeah, and the other thing is all of the tools, or almost all of the tools, are available digitally too. So they are downloadable. There's not a charge for those digital tools. This is not a product that we're selling. This is a tool that we want you to use to help people pray for persecuted Christians.
How did the International Day of Prayer for Persecuted Christians begin? And do you have a lot of churches taking part?
We do have a lot of churches that are involved, and it began now more than 25 years ago as different ministries came together and said, hey, we need to be telling these stories. The American church needs to know about our brothers and sisters who are facing persecution. How do we do that? How do we make that happen? And so that really is how the International Day of Prayer began, is just a cooperative effort to say, hey, let's encourage American Christians to pray. And it's interesting how it's grown over the years, and different churches do different things. We've actually heard from churches who have kind of an underground service. They distribute instructions on how to get in the building. Maybe there's a secret knock that you have to know in order for the door to open. We actually heard from a pastor several years ago who built a prison cell on the front lawn of their church. The week before International Day of Prayer, he spent that week in that prison cell. And when the media came out, when the cameras came out, they're like, "Pastor, well, what are you doing in the cell?" And he said, "Well, hey, I'm going to get out on Sunday to go preach on International Day of Prayer for persecuted Christians, but we are remembering brothers and sisters who aren't going to get out on Sunday. They're still going to be in prison." And so, like I say, different churches honor that day in different ways. They do different things to draw attention to it, but our hope is every church is praying for persecuted Christians.
Learn more at persecution.com/IDOP.
All right, Sarah, thank you. Faith Under Fire, the name of the program, comes your way every Thursday during the Noon Report. You can also catch it online anytime at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or our website, familylife.org.
Good afternoon. Here is your Family Life regional weather forecast. High pressure will assure us of a crisp, cool afternoon and a chilly, dry night tonight. Our next weather maker of note will be a potent area of low pressure and an attending front. It'll bring rain and some wind here later Sunday into early next week. For this afternoon, ample sunshine, crisp and cool, the high in the 50s. Mainly clear tonight, low temperatures mostly in the 30s. Tomorrow, sunshine, some clouds will build in, though, through the afternoon in western New York with high temps near 60. There'll be a brief shower or sprinkle in a few places late tomorrow afternoon or evening. Saturday, some sunshine and warmer. High temp 60s to near 70. Rain arrives later on Sunday and Sunday night.
All right, Kevin, great work at the Weather Center. And finally, wordsmiths of the world rejoice. It is National Dictionary Day. Family Life's Brian Query has our report.
Observed every October 16th, National Dictionary Day celebrates the birthday of Noah Webster, the man often called the father of the American dictionary. Webster published the first edition of his dictionary in 1828, helping shape American spelling and grammar as we know it today. This holiday encourages people to expand their vocabulary, learn new words, and appreciate the importance of language in everyday life. Educators and word lovers alike use the day to share their favorite unusual terms or to challenge friends to a spontaneous spelling bee. So whether you're word nerdy or just curious by definition, today's the perfect time to crack open a dictionary and learn something new. Trust me, you'll be jubilant, elated, even ecstatic that you did. Brian Query, Family Life News.
All right, Brian, thank you very much. It does pay to enrich your word power. And that's our world, the world we live in. Thursday, October 16th. I'm Bob Price, Family Life News.
You've been listening to the Noon Report, heard weekdays on Family Life. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening to this Family Life News podcast. If you've been encouraged by what you've heard, please share it with others and click the subscribe button to automatically receive future episodes. Family Life is a listener-supported ministry. Podcasts like this are made possible by your financial partnership. Find out more at familylife.org.